On June the 4th, 1996, a rocket worth €500 million destroyed itself 40 seconds after launch. Not because of a mechanical failure, not because of a fuel problem, but because of a number. Specifically, because a number was too large to fit inside a 16-bit signed integer. The guidance system, which was software reused from an earlier rocket, encountered a value it shouldn't have. It failed and it shut down. These systems were generating flight data for the main flight computer. When they crashed, they sent error messages, which were interpreted as navigation data. So the main flight computer, suddenly receiving nonsense instead of navigation readings, believed the rocket was violently off course, and it tore itself apart trying to correct its direction. All of that because a number exceeded its allowed range of 32,767. So why is there an allowed range at all? And why is it this specifically weird value of 32,767? It's not even a power of 2. Well, the answer goes back to one deceptively simple problem from the early days of computing. How do you store a negative number in binary? And there's two ways to do this. One way is obvious, the other way was quite clever. The engineers chose the clever one. Computers are digital machines. They store everything as binary. There's not little ones and zeros flowing through your device. It's all just pulses of electricity. Photos, videos, text, memes, rocket velocity. This is the first in 4 videos that are going to explore how computers store information in this fundamental way. We're looking at the low-level data. Whole numbers, fractions, little weird poop emojis. So hit subscribe so you can watch the other videos when they come out. Now there's a very simple method to convert a base 10 number, which is what we count in, into binary. Let's have a brief maths lesson. Pay attention, there will be homework later. So we're going to convert a base 10 number into binary. The first thing we need to do is wait for that helicopter to go away that is circling the house. So while it does that, I'm going to draw out the number line that we need. It's just basic powers of 2. Now suppose we want to convert the number, let's go for 79. Okay, I'm going to convert that into this. Okay, it's gone. We're trying to get 79 into this. All we have to do is work out which of these numbers will fit into this and then take them away from it. So obviously 128 won't fit into 79. 64 will, so we put a 1. We then take away 64 from that. So that's 15. So 15 won't fit into that, it won't fit into that. It'll fit into 8. So we take away 8. So 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. That is 79 in binary. 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. So positive numbers are easy. I can teach that to 11-year-olds in about 20 minutes. They don't actually know what they're doing, but they can do it. But what about negative numbers? Because you can't exactly just draw a minus sign next to all the bits. The fact that a number is negative has to somehow be encoded inside the bits themselves. And how we choose to do that determines the maximum value that a computer can store. Which means we're already one step closer to understanding how a rocket exploded because of some number. There's 2 ways to represent negative numbers in binary. The most obvious solution is called sign and magnitude, and it's pretty simple. It is sort of like you just put a minus sign in front. I'll show you on a whiteboard. Here we go. Sign and magnitude is a little bit weird. You have your number line like before. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 bits. The next one would usually be 128. But now this is just going to be the sign bit. So now this bit has a special meaning. 0 means positive, 1 means negative. So already you can see that we can't represent as many numbers. I can't represent 128 in this. The biggest number I can represent is 127, or minus 127. So if I want to do 16, there's 16, oh, with a 0. If I want minus 16, that's minus 16, because it has a 1 at the beginning. This has a slightly weird side effect. For example, if I put this bit pattern in, obviously it's all zeros, so that means 0. But what if I do this? So, all zeros is 0. What's that? It's not 128 because that's a sign bit. So you add up all these bits, which gives you 0. And a 1 means negative. So this is minus 0. This shouldn't be a thing. So you can see that's simple, it's logical, it's fairly human friendly. But there are problems, mostly dealing with that whole weird, strange negative 0 nonsense. If I count backwards from 0, I should get to minus 1, yeah? Not minus 0. What is a minus 0? It isn't a thing. If you want to add numbers, it gets in the way, because the computer first has to inspect the sign bit and work out what numbers are we adding, which means you need extra logic and circuitry, and that takes time and costs more. So the engineers wanted something better, something where the same circuit could add all numbers regardless of what they were, positive or negative, without caring what they were. That better system is called 2's complement. It's a bit confusing the first time you see it, but like most things, the underlying principle is actually really simple, because a computer has to be able to do it, so it shouldn't require any actual understanding of what's going on. And to understand it, think of the odometer in a car, that thing that counts how many miles a car has driven in its lifetime. It's made from little wheels with the digits 0 to 9 on them. And when you drive, they sort of just tick round. When you get to 9, it just rolls back over to 0. And if there's a bunch of them in a straight line connected together, there's obviously a maximum value. So like if you've got 9999 and you roll over, the next thing you're going to get to is just 0000. I mean, right, real cars drive more than 10,000 miles. I've done double that this year. You know, I drive a long way to get to work and back. My partner's got an old moped and it claims to have done 800 miles, but it's 40 years old and we recently discovered it's done at least 8,000. So it's possibly rolled over its counter. But anyway, you get the idea. So numbers wrap around. That's the point I'm trying to make. You get to the maximum and it just goes back to 0 and starts again. Computers do the same thing. If we have 8 bits, we can count 256 different values, 0 to 255. And we can use this to store a representation of negative numbers. I'll show you with a diagram, it's a bit easier to explain. In regular counting, you'd have 0 here, and then positive numbers go this way, and negative numbers go this way. Usually with binary, if you have an 8-bit number, they start from 0, and then they just count upwards to whatever the maximum number is. What if we did it slightly different? What if we had 0 in the middle, and then it went 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the other way, it went 255, 254, 253, and so on. And these are now connected and eventually just like wrap around to like join each other. That now means that's 0, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. This is now -1, -2, and -3. It's like this in Python's lists, actually. If you have a list, and you have that's 0, that's 5, or this is also -1, so you can count backwards from the other end. It's nothing to do with this, but it's kind of a related idea. There you go. So negative numbers aren't marked with a minus sign. They're just treated as values you get by counting backwards from 0. And it sounds really strange at first, but it gives us something incredibly useful that we can use later on. 2's complement seems more complicated. Like, how does the computer even know we want -1 and not 255? They've got the same bit pattern. Well, it doesn't, and that's the really clever bit. You, the programmer, care. The hardware itself couldn't care less. Let me show you what I mean. So 13 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 4 is really easy. To turn that into -4, we have to flip all the bits and add 1. So 1 and 1 is 2, 1 and 1 is 2, that's a 1, and that's a 1. So that's -4. We can now subtract this from this by just doing basic addition. So 1, 1, 0, 1, plus 1, 1, 0, 0, 1 add nothing is 1. Nothing add nothing is that. 1 and 1 is 2. 1 and 1 and 1 is 3. And we lose the bit. And if I now convert that, so 1, 0, 0, 1, you can see that 1 add 8 is 9, which is the same as this. It's all mathematically consistent with itself. We've lost that bit, which means it's rolled over, and we've only got 9 left. Can you see how that's really elegant? And elegant stuff in computing is generally what we're trying to get. If it's nice and elegant, it's probably working well, which means it's efficient. And it's exactly what engineers wanted. There's just one way to represent negative and positive numbers without anything weird in the middle. So this is nice and all, but what's it got to do with exploding rockets? Did the guidance system try to measure something, get a number far too large, and just roll it over and decide it was negative? Well, almost, but not quite. In signed binary, half the range of values must represent negativity, the other half is positive. So if you've got 16 bits, you don't get values up to 65,535. You only get minus 32,768 down to 0, or up to 0, and then from 0 to 32,767. The Ariane 5 rocket didn't explode because 2's complement is flawed. It exploded because a larger 32-bit number was converted into a smaller 16-bit signed number without any error checking or protection. So the software failed, the backup failed, and then the computer trusted the corrupted data. And the real twist to this, that piece of code wasn't even needed for that rocket. It was just leftover code from the previous model. Wasn't needed at all. So hidden deep inside one of the most advanced machines ever built was some old assumptions about numbers that shouldn't have been there. And then 40 seconds later, became a very expensive mistake. And just think about that for a minute. This was the 1990s, way before we had AI vibe-generated code and software managers demanding unrealistic expectations from their staff. Thinking intelligent literal rocket scientists forgot to take some code out in a device and made mistakes. Because that's what being a person means. You kind of cock it up occasionally. Even the best people get it wrong. So why there's quality assurance procedures and lots of steps when you do things, but even they can go wrong. Except if you've got humans involved in it, physically writing and checking the calculations, errors often get spotted more frequently. The real point is not that humans made mistakes and a rocket exploded. It's more that if we keep swapping people out for systems that are just running by themselves, who's checking what that's doing? Usually other humans check other humans' work and they spot mistakes. It's not perfect, but it seems pretty reliable. There's a lot more rockets taking off successfully than there are ones exploding. I just kind of wonder what mission critical things are now being vibe coded by understaffed teams hastily running through AI generated unit tests and rushing it out to hit deadlines with very little human oversight. I just kind of wonder what's going to go dramatically wrong in the future. In this video, I said computers can add binary numbers using surprisingly simple hardware. That hardware is called an adder, and it's one of the building blocks inside every single CPU. In the next video, we're going to look at how computers physically add numbers using logic gates and circuits. So subscribe if you want to see that. Also, if you're still here, I'm curious. Do you work in a job where you used to be a programmer, but now you just seem to be in this weird sort of AI-first organization where you're being told to use AI for everything, and your own skill that you've probably had for like 20 odd years is no longer seen relevant, and you just spend your day fighting with Claude? Or do you work somewhere where they've actually found a balance and it kind of works? Tell us in the comments, because it's what's happening now, and I don't quite know where it's going next. It's also given time for the police helicopter that was circling above the housing estate to go away. I can sort of hear it in the background still. Probably looking for all those illegal barbecues that are happening where people are having too much fun.